Welcome back for Cuphead-Ep7. We're going to start today's video off with facing Captain Brineybeard.
A great slam and then and begin.
The first phase of this boss can be a little intimidating. The reason being that there's so many different types of attacks that he can do. To start, you always have this barrel hanging above you. Whenever it lines up above you, it'll drop down and try to hit you. That barrel will be there the entire fight. The captain himself uses an octopus to shoot little pellets at you. Most of them will be parryable. You'll also occasionally see him whistle. When he does this, he'll summon one of 3 different types of attacks. You've got this one where he summons a shark, and you'll see the shark fin in the background. That's how you know it's that one. You've got another where he summons a squid, and it'll come up in the background and splatter ink everywhere, making it a little bit harder for you to see. And you also got the one where he summons 4 fish dogs, but I'll have to show you both of them later, because neither of them happened in this fight. And as the fight progresses, the ship will start shooting cannonballs at you too. Now we are on to phase 2. The ship takes over and now you're facing it directly. It has 2 different types of attacks. To start, its uvula will start spitting these bubbles full of this orange liquid, and they'll come at you moving across the screen in a circular pattern. The other attack that it can do is it'll charge up and shoot a pink beam at you. You can either duck like I did, but that'll leave you vulnerable to the barrel like I was, or you can attempt to jump on top of it and continuously parry it, because it is a parryable attack. Man, that barrel really kicked my butt this fight. Not bad, we ended up getting an A-. You may have noticed that I unlocked the crack shot for this fight, and that's because at first during these fights I was really struggling. Alright, the next 2 clips that I'm going to show you are of the other creatures that he can summon when he whistles. The first one is the squid that throws ink everywhere. I don't believe I ended up seeing the full effect here because you can kill it in time. As for the fish dogs, after the captain whistles, a periscope will pop up, and then 4 fish dogs will slide across the deck trying to run into you. But you can kill them as well. I was never sure if you could kill the shark because I could never do enough damage to do so. Now we're going to take on the Run Gun Perilous Piers. Just like always, the main goal of this run and gun is to get the coins. We'll go for better scores later. There's our first coin. You'll want to wait right here because eventually some crabs will show up that you can ride. The crack shot really makes this game a lot easier. I plan on making a guide that shows you how to get the crack shot weapon and the heart ring early on. There's our second coin. Alright, in this section, make sure you're watching out for the lobster that's backstroking. He'll also be shooting off lightning bolts at you. And there's our third coin. And yes, you can kill the lobster so you don't have to deal with him. Although he does respawn. Our fourth coin is hidden inside the boat. Don't forget it. And this section makes sure you parry that gem that's on the top of the anchor every time, or otherwise the giant octopus will start to sink. Also, there's our 5th coin. And the entire time we're going to be trying to dodge pearls coming out of the clams from the left, and shrimp jumping out of the water at the right. This section can be a lot harder than it looks. But we made it. And that achievement right there just confirmed that we've gotten every coin in every run and gun. We got a B. And here's a little blooper to teach you what happens if you're not patient. And now we're going to face Sally Stageplay.
Here's a real high-class bout. Now go.
In phase 1, she's got a few attacks. She'll jump up and throw her hand fan at you. She can also jump up and corkscrew at you. She can also make herself vanish and teleport above you using her umbrella. And she'll blow you a kiss. That little heart that's floating at you is the key to activating the secret phase that I'll show you in the next fight. Alright, now on to phase 2. Alright, so in this phase, she continues to throw fans at you. And she'll continue to jump up in the air and corkscrew at you. But as you've noticed, her and her husband's children are throwing bottles out of the windows at you. And occasionally she'll open her umbrella and put it above her and spin it in circles really fast. And these little toy mice will come out of her umbrella. They'll go along the bottom of the ground to the sides of the screen, climb up the walls, go into the sky, and then they will drop down from above. Now we're on to phase 3. In this phase, she has 3 different attacks. She can summon a meteor. Whenever you break it, a star will come out that you can parry. You'll need to use that star to get over her next attack, which is a giant wave. And then she can summon a bunch of lightning. Alright, now we're on to the final phase. She'll be floating back and forth across the screen up in the air, while her umbrella is spinning like a top on the ground trying to hit you. And the crowd is throwing roses periodically onto the stage. Next, I'm going to show you how to activate the secret phases of Sally Stageplay. And then we'll follow up with the speedrunning trick I figured out. But we got a B this time.
A great slam and then stop. And begin.
Alright, to activate the secret phase fights with Sally Stageplay, it's actually better if you just don't even bother attacking her. That way you don't accidentally kill her early. But what you're trying to do is wait for her to blow kisses at you, and then you're going to parry the heart and try to land on top of the little angels that are floating in the sky on either side of the screen. You'll need to do this for both of them. So what's going to happen is the chandelier is going to fall and kill her husband, and that'll activate the next phase. So now instead of it being her and her husband's house, it's now a nunnery that's named after her would-be husband. The thing that's different is instead of babies throwing bottles at you, nuns will pop out of the windows and throw rulers at you. Alright, now we're on to the third secret phase. So there's still all of her normal attacks, the meteor, lightning bolts, and wave. But as you can see, her husband's also there. And with him there's occasionally a fireball thrown across the screen by a baby. But also she seems way more aggressive with the lightning. I also think that in this phase they have a lot more health. And the final phase is the same. The only difference being the background characters. The priest is always there, but instead of her husband and kids, there's a nun. Alright, now I'm going to show you the speedrunning trick that I learned. And we got a B+ this time.
This match will get red hot. And begin.
Alright, so I discovered this by accident when I was trying to record how to activate the secret phase for y'all. Essentially, you're doing everything the same, but you gotta time it perfectly. Basically, what you're trying to do is drop the chandelier on her husband at the exact same time that you kill her. So what ends up happening is, you kill her husband, but you also kill her in the version that would have been the nunnery, skipping the second phase entirely. And then you'll go straight into the third phase, but it's a little glitched, because as you can see, the nunnery's in the background. I'm not gonna lie, I was so confused and thrown off guard that I ended up making some simple mistakes really quickly. And I also never repeated this, so hats off to speedrunners that master things like this. Alright, time for a few simple bloopers. As you can see, lightning bolts were a problem for me. If you enjoyed, I'd very much appreciate it if you liked and subscribed and stuck around for the next one, where we're going to be facing off against Dr. Call and his robot and some other iconic bosses. You've been watching Cosmic Respawn Gaming. And remember, every respawn is an epic quest.